was here, the rabbi's doing almost all the talk. He's going to take his time and go back on it.
You can see it.
And I did it before, once or twice, but still.
Every time you learn Gemara again, it's unbelievable. So we spoke yesterday in the Acharonim speak, is a woman chayav min haTorah. The Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim or not, the way we saw yesterday the Chesed Shlomo, he says, in a minute you'll see how significant it is. Why did the Rambam bring the pasuk for mitzvah Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim and not the pasuk V'Higalta Lebenecha? The way we learned yesterday is very good because the pasuk is connecting the issue of Chametz and this pasuk V'Zacharta Ki Eved Hayita Be'Eretz Mitzrayim. Let's start today with Shulchan Aruch, Siman Tav Ayin Bet, 472 Tav Ayin Bet. Then we'll look again at Tav Ayin Gimel.
Do you know how many people voted from our area or still?
No, waiting at the seat of the actual.
You have no idea, go back. People, the avenue was empty except people going to the public school to vote.
Really? Yeah.
Everyone advertised it. Rani did a very good job.
I will have to say, when I went to vote on Sunday,
There's nobody.
I was the only person.
Well, the other thing is, it's funny. Even partners, Ashkenazi partners, they wanted to wait until election day to promote it. I was pushing early voting. Early voting, only less than 800 people voted in the entire 8 days before. But the vote was 5,200 votes, so everybody came out on election day.
It was like 7,000 votes total?
5,200 votes. He got 4,200.
Oh, 5,200. 42.
So we're continuing yesterday's topic. Woman chayav b'sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim or not? The answer is yes. The question is in the Torah or not. So look at Siman Tav Ayin Bet, Seif Yud Bet. Yud Dalet, first Yud Dalet.
Thank you.
When we learn our Chot of Pesach, try again to eat. Because we're learning Pesach. If anyone opens this on Pesach, when I was a kid, me and my sister before Pesach, I realized as I grew that halachic it makes a difference. But you used to take out all my father's book, lay them on the floor, leave it half a day, let the wind blow. My father has books on education and the answer is he didn't use it for 5 years, but for me and my sister, every year, I mean, this was, of course.
Actually, what isn't it great that people were taking their seats out of their cars? I mean, unscrewing them.
You forgot what happened when you had the kids in your car.
Yeah. But even if it's there, it's you sold it. It's not food anymore. It's even if they're eat it. I mean, I can't find a reason why you would have to be conservative.
I'm telling you again. Every kid that grows up in a family, the seat is being taken out when he grows up.
You find stuff.
No, nothing. When he grows up, the idea of Pesach is But if the family goes to Florida and the day before Pesach we pack and we go, Pesach means nothing to me.
Yep.
I've taken them.
Rabbi called David,
But they're easy to take out, meaning,
when my kids were little, yes, we have in our dining room, we have a Chinese rug. I picked up the edge. Where do you think I found it?
you found the full meal. Full meal.
Four macaroni. My kids took out once a box of macaroni and simply played on the floor.
I understand, but I can't compare that to taking out the seat of your car. Screwing it.
No, but I'm
Okay.
saying, no, but the message to the kids,
Okay.
I'm saying the kids, we're opening tough iron beds, see if you done it.
Have my car come and clean it on
You know,
Friday.
Rabbi,
So for
it
2
happened
weeks,
to
I
me
won't have snacks in the
twice.
car.
Right,
a
right,
customer
right.
called me that I had to change their oven because they broke it.
Yeah, okay.
Because of cleaning.
Cleaning
No,
of
but,
the
Yeah.
no, but remember, I'm telling you again, if you want to be a halachic Jew for Pesach, it's very easy. You need 20 minutes, but all of it. Larry, listen to this. Rabbi Pesach Kron has the following story. There was a Hasidic salesman, a good salesman. He had a rule. He takes a client to any restaurant he wants, but it has to be a kosher restaurant because he's a Hasid, even if he doesn't eat, okay? Anyway, he says he went to Arizona. And the client, the guy, says to him, there are no Jews here. Now take me to, he says,
Yeah, you
fine.
find
fine.
restaurant, who's
Okay,
gonna
so he
know?
says, he took a soda. But the end of the meal from the back of the restaurant, the guy says to him, Rabbi Yid, I saw you, but I watched you, so you didn't eat. Anyway, the guy introduces himself. He says, I'm from Brooklyn. He says, I don't keep anything. I'm married to a Goyal. And I realize these people want to talk about themselves. And he says, nothing, Yom Kippur or Yom Kippur.
Wow.
Except Pesach.
Except Pesach, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He says to him, why? He says, because I owe it.
Grandfather,
I owe it to my mother.
She worked so
My mother loved me. I remember my mother, but this is the seat. You understand?
Okay.
No, Eli, you're
I'm not
looking.
talking how.
Eli, you're looking at it intellectually.
I'm looking
I always comment on the most traffic from the city to Brooklyn is on Erev Pesach. The first time to say that, everybody who has a little trace of Judaism wants to say the same.
You look at Tafa and Betsy if you done it. Come. Give it to him, Nathan, Tafa and Betsy. Tafa and Betsy if you done it. Shulchan Aruch, remember, we are going to spend a long time with this month. גם הנשים חייבות בארבע כוסות, נאמרים אז ארבע כוסות זה מצווה דרבנן, ובכל מצוות הנוהגות באותו לילה. ובכל מצוות. Of course, it's including הסיפור יציאת מצרים. Look what he says in משנה ברורה.
Rabbi Prop.
every second, ובכל, גם הנשים חייבות, ואף שהוא מצווה שהזמן גרמה, בכל מקום חייבות, שאף הם היו באותו הנס. You do realize that he's talking about ארבע כוסות, because this is the comment he has. Now, מכל מצוות הנוהגות כגון מצה, מרור, ואמירת אגדה. But there's no hint here. Is it min Torah, midrabanan? Yeah, well, what's your question?
So that's very interesting because the tour does not include Sipur Yitziat Mitzrayim. He only writes Matzah Umaror. And you just said you said Sipur Yitziat Mitzrayim. So
Right.
the
The way the tour,
today.
you mean this is in Tafa and Bet over there, see if you doubt it, yes?
100%.
No, this is clear. If it doesn't mention it, he holds, you'll see in a minute.
How do you put Mitzvah Marur in the same sentence? One's Doraita and one's Rabbanan.
No, but midrabanan, he's saying midrabanan.
Yeah.
No, no, he's talking about Shulchan Aruch writes you all the halachot today.
Regardless.
Okay,
He doesn't give you the halachot of Bet HaMikdash.
okay.
The Rambam would, now,
Why is this go? That's where we're customary. Why not at the other
Chayavot.
mitzvot? Why not use more
Chayavot.
accurate language, so to speak? It's not just a custom. Curious.
You're asking a good question because in your mind, you translate the word
Yeah.
you are God as minhag.
Oh, heck, you can't.
You are God means kol mitzvot that apply to that.
Applicable.
I'll show you applicable is the right word.
Applicable. Very good, okay.
Look now in Siman Tafa and Gimel.
Translation.
Remember, this is two Simanim. And Tafa and Ben will spend a long time. Tafa and Gimel is taking us step by step what we do that night, yes? So listen to something very interesting. Shulchan Aruch is saying, give me a second. You look a second. Okay, let's read it since we see Vav, even though I'm aiming to the end, but look. Tafa and Gimel, see Vav. Notel Yadav, we made Kiddush. Then Notel Yadav, לצורך טיבור ראשון, right? קדש ורחץ, you wash your hands, ולא יברך על הנטילה, ויקח מהכרפס פחות מכזית, מטבילו מחומץ, fine, ומברך בורא פרי אדמה, everyone does it, this is fine, ואינו מברך אחריו, וישנו ברכה אחרונה, this is הוא מקפיד פחות מכזית. ויקח מצה אמצעית, take the middle one, ויבצענה לשתיים, you break it, וייתן חציה, give an over. ואחד מהמסובים, ושומרה לאפיקומן. I remember all the דברי תורה and all the gematriyot are correct, but this is halacha. Why do we need 3 matzot? 3. The reason is because every holiday and every Shabbat you need lechem mishneh.
Twofold.
Since you break one,
You don't have. That's interesting.
right? So you have left with 2 only.
two.
Except of course Shitat Hagra. Shitat Hagra you take only 2, and the Gra says the lechem of Pesach is a broken lechem. Lechem only is the lechem. Okay, fine. This is those who go.
We put the third matzah down though.
Right. You say Amot Lechem in Haaretz, you put it down.
Yeah.
Because the one on the bottom you use only for lechem mishneh.
So
Now that you are about to
Remember,
say al achilat matzah, so you have the top and the middle.
a person should have kavanah to say, I'm doing the hamotzi with the bottom one then.
Whatever you have, David, is good.
Okay.
No. I mean, this
Because
is
if you.
no. I mean, it's not a special halacha for Pesach. It's halacha every Friday night, every Shabbat morning. Say hamotzi lechem mishneh.
So if you had only 2 pieces of matzah, you would say both beracha with the.
Correct. So you wouldn't drop anyone. Correct.
Okay.
Now listen what he said. ונותנים, אוקיי, יוחאי דאפיקומן, וחציה השני, the broken one, you put between the 2 שלמות, ויגביה את הקערה, you lift, whatever you do is fine, ויאמר הלך מעליה, עד מה נשתנה, right? So this is how we start the seder. So basically he gave us the first 15 minutes of the seder. Says the Ramah, remember this is the Ramah speaking now, ויאמר, when you read the Haggadah, בלשון שמבינים הנשים והקטנים. Make sure that the language, and by the way, you see that when this was written 450 years ago, you said it. Your family members are listening. ויאמר בלשון שמבינים. Today, everyone has a Haggadah with Hebrew and English. או יפרש להם העניין, לא translate. וכן עשה רי מלונדרי כל ההגדה בלשון נאס. The Rama quotes one of the Rishonim that translated the entire Haggadah as he said it in the language. Lundri sounds like Italian. כדי שיבינו הנשים והקטנים. So here the Rama, but again it doesn't tell us. Let's look at the Mishnah Berurah. בלוק סמך גימל, בלשון שמבינים, ויקיים בזה מה שכתוב והגדת לבנך. You realize this והגדת לבנך, it's talking about the children. כדי שיבינו הנשים שלנו. שהרי גם נשים חייבות במצוות הלילה, ladies are חייבות ובאמירת ההגדה, וכנ"ל as we just started tonight, this morning, Siman Tafa Hebet if you die.
Yeah.
Even
If
Chaz,
you're-
does it matter what the age is? Are we talking about children under 13 or over 13? It really doesn't matter.
But לכאורה, under 13.
Under 13.
But
So it's a mitzvah just on you to tell them
We'll
they're
talk,
not.
we'll
yeah.
talk about that, they have their own chiyuv.
So then, that's what I'm asking. If the child is 13 years old, he has his own
Well, we
chiyuv
see-
to read.
סיפור את זה at the time, yes. ולכן he continues, but you see, if you know the Chafetz Chaim, and by he's telling me, look, on the previous siman, and over there, he hinted that this is the Rabbanan, ולכן החיוב גם על המשרת. You have a Jewish maid,
Yeah.
שתשב אצל השולחן ותשמע כל ההגדה. ואם צריכות לצאת החוץ לבשל, if the ladies or the servants would have to go out to cook, על כל פנים, at least, מחויבות לשמוע הקידוש, וכשיגיע לרבן גמליאל אומר, which is towards the, yes, אומר, כל שלא אמר פסח מצה ומרור, תיכנס ותשמע, עד אחר שתיית כל שני, שהרי מי שלא אמר, so basically he's saying, let's say it's a large family and they really have to run in and out, yes, they have to, at least, פסח מצה ומרור, שהרי מי שלא אמר שלושה הדברים הללו לא יצא. ונוהגים שגם קוראים אותה, שתשמע סדר 10 מכות, שהביא הקדוש ברוך הוא על המצרים, כדי להגיד להם כמה ניסים עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא בשביל ישראל. You see, he brings it from חטא א' חיי אדם.
So when we do more than this, is this Hidur mitzvah?
But it's like always.
Well, we have the essential. So
Yeah, I know, but since part of the Haggadah is בכל המרבה לספר על איזה משובח.
it's more. It's not Hidur. It's more than
Maybe-
part of the mitzvah.
I'll give you an example. The chief rabbi of Yerushalayim 170 years ago, Shmuel Saladek, באמת גאון מבהיר. He used to come from shul, make the seder in approximately 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Take a little nap of 10 minutes. Says every rabbi in Yerushalayim tonight drinks wine, they cannot keep a set halachot. I'm in charge of all the rabbis. You need one rabbi in the whole city. Say halachot. Under the influence of alcohol, you cannot do the set halachot. So when he
He's on
finished the
duty, so to speak.
seder, everyone started. Now the reason I'm telling it to you is, but this is the point. The point is to do as much as you can. He says my job is to. There are always questions the night of the seder.
It's on call.
Now let me read you now. Let's go to the. This is because it's open. So it's open meeting.
So right, we have a Moroccan customer in our family. We take the tray, we pass it over the heads of all the participants, and they say "Bivilo Yasanim" on the sign. So that's Moroccan custom. We have it. So all our kids, grandkids,
Rani, I teach all the kids of the community. They used to teach Ashkenazim and ask them, what do you remember from the seder? They'll remember the play. Eli, so this is the answer. If you're looking only what is the mitzvah is, let's say if I would, years ago, this is about 15 years, my mother-in-law's sister, not married, was my manager. So I told my family, you start the seder. I told my son, I'm going to do it with him.
Yeah.
So I finished, I started exactly on time. Told her, Leah, listen, I'm making the kiddush for you. Yes, she did. And then I walked home, which is about 20 minutes. I finished the seder in 35 minutes, you understand, yes?
Yeah.
You have to say, I need to write to kiddush, okay? To the sip, yes. So the answer is, but the idea of the seder is, kids remember those experiences.
We have one strange thing.
Well, what do you remember from the seder, Jack?
I remember my grandmother set up the seder in her, she had a huge living room. There must have been, when I was a kid, must have been 1,000 people there.
Wow.
You see what he said? He remembers the 1,000 people, which means 25, yes?
Yeah.
No,
It's
but-
definitely more than 25, not
More
that.
than 25.
Oh, 100%. At least 60.
There's 60 people here, but I'm
And at that
asking.
time-
Like a seven.
At that time, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And what do you remember from the Seder? From the Seder itself.
I still remember my uncle Mo Alav Shalom heading the Seder
Yeah.
and reading and knowing the whole book. He wasn't a very religious man. Knew the whole
Oh, yeah,
book.
see, Larry, look at you.
My uncle was.
But this is the idea, you like, hear this?
He ran the
Yeah,
show.
very
He
similar.
ran the show. My
They're
uncle
actually
also, my
similar
uncle
like my grandfather
was
Kira,
fantastic.
Sam Kira, we used to go,
Oh,
do the
yeah.
same thing,
shit, right.
same type
No,
of
but
thing.
but this is the point. The point is, Eli, if we want to be a tzedek, no one will. It's
The
one
reason I
way.
mentioned it because the rabbi was saying, "Oh, you upset." He's telling you, "Matzah maro." When you say the three things, you're upset. And I said, and I remember I said, "But the best bad leaf must be I do mitzvah." And he was arguing with, and I was arguing with him, and that's why it brought to mind what you said.
Eli,
what we read.
again, if I would have to run a tzedek in the old age home,
Yeah,
I would do exactly what the Mishnah did.
yeah,
I know that they have to be in bed at 10 o'clock.
right. Yeah, I'm saying there
I-
is.
I would start exactly on time. I would say the kiddush, everyone drink, you drink a little bit.
4 minutes.
Let's wash.
In other words, if you're a Hatzalah member, you heard only those things and you ran out.
Exactly.
Do you have to come back and
Exactly.
repeat what
That's
you
it.
would
That's
say?
it. No, you're set.
10 o'clock.
Now listen, Larry, listen a minute.
That's what probably motivated the Rambam to use the Lashon Laharo.
This is part of it for sure. Now, Larry, you have access, go to Sefer HaChinuch. Sefer HaChinuch, Mitzvah 21. 21.
My father passed away when I was 3. But we have a family tradition. My father, when we had the bedside, he used to squeeze it. And we don't know why. Nobody knows why.
His hands were cold.
No. It's not, sorry. We don't know why, but we all do it.
But this,
Oh my God.
but this is classic. You're like, this is the key. What kept Jews, and this is what the Emet, the respect they have for the Hasidim. When I used to be younger, come on.
Yeah.
The answer
no,
is,
tradition.
if
Like
you
the
look at,
woman,
if you
like
look at,
Tradition.
no, but if you look at history, they say Judaism. Understand? If you become an intellectual Jew, it's better.
Your mother does it the first time.
But did
You
you
have
reach your point?
you have mitzvah chafalef, you have mitzvah chafalef 21. Sefer HaChinuch.
Lost for a reason, should they be continued? If I can't even find the reason, if you can't find the reason, should they be continued? Like the key in the house.
Only because you're holding on to tradition.
Yeah.
No, but this is
We've been
this
doing
is
it
the
last
point.
night
This is
for,
the point of the movie.
A good.
Yeah.
No, this is exactly the point of the movie.
He didn't want his daughter to marry a goy because of tradition.
You know, I told you,
Same like the-
you know, I visited the gravesite of the Rama many times. When you come with American people, we tell them, okay, he preserved all the minhagim in the shul of the Rama. I mean, you come there, you tremble. The Rama said here, there's a sefer. You like listen to this. You like,
David.
hey, David, what prompted the Rama to write a special book to preserve all the Ashkenazi? Keep in mind that the Rama wrote the same book as the Shulchan Aruch.
Yes, yes.
And when he found out that the Shulchan Aruch
He
wrote
left
it,
it.
he said, send me a copy. He read it. He said, I don't need my work. Just listen good. Krakow is Poland. In the winter, it's freezing. Whatever winter we had here, it's listen, he becomes a rabbi, and it was a very strange custom. When a woman goes to the mikveh, the next morning, the shamosh tells her, Mabruk. It tells the husband, not her, of course. It's ugly.
Yeah, not nice.
He has to know that you were there. So the Rama, being the Rama, cancels it right away. Cancels it. She said, Miss finished. So I have favor. Few days later, a husband comes to the shamosh, says,
Why'd you give me
why didn't you give me the blessing? He says, hey, the rabbi canceled me, your wife was not last night with me.
Whoa.
The Rama ripped his garment, you understand? This garment was, how do you know? It's not today that the woman goes to the mikveh, it's warm and comfortable. It's very cold. How do you know that she was there last night? You have a single witness in the shamosh. It is the ugly custom was a sign to the husband that the wife is not in the but she wanted to be clear. This is why I decided to collect all the
Wow.
customs that we make fun of. If you know the Shorashim very often, I mean, it's a scary
Wonderful,
story. If you
wonderful,
realize.
wonderful.
No. But
I assume he reinstated it right away, that's that.
of course it did. No, but it told him also you're not judging anything by what you see now.
You have to find out what the reason is.
Yeah, you have to look at the big picture. And, says this, I'm reading you now, we don't have enough books here. I'm reading בספר החינוך, לספר בעניין יציאת מצרים בליל 15 בניסן, אילי, כל אחד כפי צחות לשונו. If you articulate and you know how to ולהלל ולשבח השם יתברך, וכל הניסים, we spent a long time on that. One of the main purposes of the Sipur, this way when you say the Hallel is a different Hallel. I told it to my class and they really related. I said, imagine those who came out from Gaza when they're celebrating this year. Yes?
Sure.
Which type of Hallel? I mean, some of
Big
them
Yetziat
will, no, which Hallel are you saying?
Yeah.
You'll tremble every. In 1967, I was in Yeshivat Kotorah, I was a Jew. From Zaman Auerbach, when the war began, left his house and says, yeah, I'll give you the book, it's fine. So the war, if you remember, began Monday. By Wednesday, the Kotel was liberated. Thursday morning, from Zaman Auerbach prayed with us, and he told us to say Nishmat. You know, Nishmat is
Yeah, sure.
He was a man that was very reserved, and he was shaking in the Hallel, as I shake in the Lulav for the first time. And he was shaking. Says, wait, look at this. We got better. No, but this is the point. The point is the Sefer HaChinuch is saying, as you tell the story, and as Larry mentioned before, the Rambam says, you try to go into the story, when you say the Hallel, it's a different type of Hallel. וכבר פירשו חכמים, I had a man in my דף היומי, Mr. Sean עליו השלום, he was a Holocaust survivor from Poland, he went to Palestine, Israel at that time, Palestine, then he went to Boston. He says to me, I'm a Hasid, I'm not a Zionist, but for me the state of Israel is more than to anyone. He says, when the war was over, every country in Europe told me, go, it's not your place, get out. There's one place that opened the gates. This is what Israel for me. But now, but this is what he felt. You understand? So the Chinuch says, if you are Leshabeach, okay, we're going to come back to it. But this book was written by a father to a son. Sefer HaChinuch. So he tells you what are the roots of the mitzvah, who is obligated. Now, Larry, here's the key. Go now to the end of Chafar. Then he says always, and who is Chayav, who is not Chayav, okay? So he says at the end like this, here. Last line, you see last line? No, Heget, this mitzvah Sipur bezcharim velekevod. He says openly that the woman is Chayav ma'Torah, b'Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim, בכל מקום ובכל זמן, and nothing to do בית המקדש, ועובר עליה. Now, comes the מנחת חינוך, which you don't have in front of you, but I do. It says, דבר זה חידוש גדול אצלי. למה תהיה? Why is the mitzvah applied to ladies? כיוון דהווה מצוות עשה שהזמן ברמה ונשים פטורות. ורמב"ם כאן, פרק ו', לגבי אכילת מצה, כתב מפורש, the Nashim Chayavot. He didn't mention, hear what he says? Yeah, the Rambam in chapter Vav says a woman is Chayav. He mentioned a woman, which Matzah. Here in Perek Zayin, lo katav it. Velo matzat it b'shum makom. So he wonders why, but the Chinuch is very short. He's just saying, I don't understand. Now, let me tell you a general rule. The general rule is, the Rambam is a Rambam. So he says, Ayen Rambam, Perek Yudbet, okay, we take please take Rambam Madad. You can take this, you take this. Open Ilchot Avodah Zarah, Larry. Rambam Sefer Madad, Ilchot Avodah Zarah. Believe it or not, Avodah Zarah, Perek Yudbet. Madad, Ilchot Avodah Zarah. הלכות עבודה זרה, פרק י"ב.
It's אותו הנס, Maran says,
What?
אותו הנס.
יש,
So the question is, when Maran, this is the problem. Because Jack was asking, no,
They were not
no.
protected by the,
So Jack was asking the other day, why do I need a pasuk to tell me that a woman is chayav b'matzah? Because she's asur b'chametz. היו באותו הנס, תוספות, פסחים, תוספות במגילה answer. היו באותו הנס, applies only to מצוות דרבנן, not מצוות דרבנן.
Okay, right, you said that, you said that, right, you said that yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
You said that yesterday.
Look to הלכות עבודה זרה, פרק י"ב. It's the last topic in this, the book that you have. Please go towards the end, go towards the end. Every time you want to know what the Rambam's opinion on certain mitzvot that the woman chayav or not, believe it or not, here he talks about it. פרק י"ב הלכה ג'.
Wait, did I miss it? Didn't we say Yetziat Mitzrayim? Maran said that why the Nashim are chayavot because they are אותו הנס. So now,
this is why I started today.
Okay,
I said
now-
Maran didn't mention סיפור. Maran says חייבות במצוות בארבע כוסות.
oh, Abakosot or what?
This is-
Abakosot, right, then the
this is why-
Rabbanan. You're right, my
This
mistake.
is
Sorry,
no,
sorry,
but
sorry.
this is why I emphasize that.
Yeah,
Maran is very careful in his language. י"ב הלכה ג'.
the four Kosot are of the Rabbanan.
So let me show you, I mean, this is an insight to the Rambam. If you look on the beginning of the page, the Rambam begins, we are not allowed to shave our, beard, take a, okay, you have it? Then look at הלכה ב', האישה שגילחה פאת ראשה, the woman has a mushroom haircut, which by us is אסור מן התורה, but she is a female barber. האישה שגילחה פאת ראש האיש, או שנתגלחה פטורה, a Jewish barber that gives a haircut to a non-Jewish man is עובר על איסור מן התורה לפני עיוור ותיתן מכשול. A Jewish barber who is shaving someone with a razor, the barber is עובר לפני עיוור.
Wow.
Says the Rambam, but since the woman herself is patur,
So she can do it.
she can do it, exactly.
Wow.
האישה שגילחה פאת ראש האיש, או שנתגלחה, או שdid it to herself,
So,
פטורה. שנאמר, listen good to the Rambam, of course this is a Gemara, לא תקיפו פאת ראשכם, don't cut your פאות,
yeah.
ולא תשחית פאת זקנך. The Torah is linking the two together. Here, using a razor and having a mushroom haircut together. כל שישנו בבר תשחית, if you have a איסור of לא תשחית your beard with a razor, ישנו בבר תקיף. Okay, the next line is
You said she's patur from a Feivet?
a woman is chayav b'lifnei עיוור the same as me and
Man,
you.
yeah.
So the Rambam is saying, I am asur in shaving, so I cannot do it for you.
Somebody else.
Since she's
She's
exempt from that particular
She can do
mitzvah,
it.
this she can do for a lot of people.
But
If she gives a cheeseburger to a man or woman, it's asur min
Well,
Torah.
you said, stop and say that for the man who shades another man's payot and all that.
It's lifnei
Asur.
עיוור. Why? Because the man is asur to do, so whatever you cannot do, you cannot do to
But the
others.
man, it's asur for him to have it. So the woman who do
The
woman
Gemara, the Gemara says that if you are exempt from this particular mitzvah, there's no issue on you to be megareach because the Gemara in Makot is linking your obligation to your issue to do to
And
others.
that's
I
what
understand,
told
but how
boy.
does that have to do with the? I'm
Could you
trying
do
to
it with
press the
you? She
issue,
can't
but I
do
don't
it with
understand.
Let's read again.
I don't understand the
Let's-
connection between
let's-
what
let's-
she's exempt from the
Let's
Feivet.
read again the Rambam. האישה שגילחה פאת ראש האיש, the woman is the barber.
Yeah.
And she is giving him a mushroom haircut, which if he would give to himself, be asur min haTorah, petura,
Is the customer a Jew or non-Jew? It doesn't matter.
only to a Jew.
Only
not a Jewish.
Petura from what? From what
Petura,
you-
she doesn't get 39 lashes.
from
like
what he
me as a
saw.
barber.
as
ולא
a,
תקיפו פאת ראשכם.
okay, fine, not from Lufei Iver, okay.
וממילא, goes hand by hand, שנאמר לא תקיפו פאת ראשכם ולא תשחית את פאת זקנך. כל שישנו בבל תשחית דביר, ישנו בבל תקיף. Okay, since you're asking, let's go to הלכה א', which are purposely, I'm aiming to הלכה ג', of course. Look at הלכה א', אין מגלחים פאות הראש, okay? We're not allowed to cut our sideburns, כמו שהיו עושים עובדי עבודה זרה בכמריה. It's a very famous Rambam, you know why?
He's linking it up about Torah, he's giving a reason, it's not a quote. He's trying to give us a reason.
I was short time in the Israeli army, we had a reform rabbi in our minyan here. So the guy came every day to shul and he put tefillin. And then of Shabbat, they'd see the guy with the rays in public. I told him, I said, listen, I would never say, but we are serving together. It says in the Chumash. It says, well, the Rambam says it's only because the Goyim used to do it. Since today everyone is doing it.
There you go. That's why you don't have.
He erased the mitzvah min Torah, and the philosophy of the reform movement. Yes, give the Torah, gave you the. I'll never forget. I see his face because he shouted. I was young also. Look a second. Eli, listen good now. Eli, you have it. וחייב פרק י"ב הלכה א', וחייב על כל פיה ופיה. So if you do one, לפיכך המגלח שני צדדיו, if you do the two sides, אפילו בבת אחת והתראה אחת או כשת. אחד המגלח הפאות בלבד, if you take all your פאות off, הוא מניח שיער כל הראש, ואחד המגלח כל הראש כאחד. הואיל וגילח הפאות לא כן. במה דברים אמורים באיש המגלח? If I use a razor, I cut my פאות, אבל האיש המתגלח, I'm sitting in the barber's chair. He is doing it to me. אינו לוקה, it's funny, no? which they assume.
He's doing my sin.
Oh, he says, אינו לוקה, אלא אם כן סייע למגלח. Now Eli, והמגלח את הקטן לוקה. Why am I getting malkot? I'm giving a haircut to a kid in 11.
Because you have any sort to do it.
The איסור is the מעשה הגילוח, okay?
Right.
Okay. Now, הלכה ב', האישה שגילחה פאת הראש, או שנתגלחה פטורה. Yes? Yes?
She's not going to get less.
שנאמר לא תקיפו פאת ראשכם ולא תשחית פאת זקנך. כל שישנו בבר תשחית ישנו בבר תקיף. ואישה אינה בבר תשחית, לפי שאין לה זקן. לפיכך העבדים הואיל ויש להם זקן אסורה. So I added that the Gemara says in Bava Metzia that if the woman would do it to a child, it's also not asur because there's no isur by her. And the barber that does it, in addition of the isur of lo takifu, I added as a לפני עיוור יותר מכשול because you are assisting a man, you're assisting someone to do another.
So she's going to be chayav. She's chayav in Lufei Iver, though if she does it, because it's asur for him to have it.
Correct.
Okay, I want to make that all clear. I'm with them. Fine, okay.
By Prague, it's very similar to when you loan money but repeat. It's the same thing. You get the.
Correct. The Gemara says in the beginning of Perek 50 Bava Metzia that the lender and the borrower and the secretary who writes the contract, which is the lawyer, and the two witnesses who sign the loan, כולם עוברים על לפני עיוור. הלכה ג', this is really why we open the book.
Long way to get there.
Please remember again, ספר החינוך מצווה 21 told us that a woman is חייב בסיפור יציאת מצרים. במלכת חינוך says why? זמן גרמה. Of course, yesterday we understood it's linked to the mitzvah of סיפור יציאת מצרים is linked to chametz or matzah, you see. Here the Rambam is listing you all the exceptions. Listen. כל מצוות לא תעשה שבתורה, לא תעשה. אחד האנשים ואחד נשים חייבים.
Yeah.
Right? חוץ מבעל תקיף, again, בעל תקיף זה cutting your sideburns, ובעל תשחית your beard with a razor, ובעל יטמא כהן למתים. If she's a doula of a כהן, she is permitted to go to a funeral. Says the Rambam, בכל מצוות עשה. אתה שומע, this is what the Rambam decided to put the halacha that a woman is exempt is here. Remember, פרק י"ב. בכל מצוות עשה שהיא מזמן לזמן, from time to time, בעילת הדירה is not often, נשים פטורות. חוץ. Remember, these are the exceptions. חוץ. בקידוש היום, which is Friday night, באכילת מצה בלילי הפסח. Now, don't you think the Rambam should add?
Yeah, he should have put in Sipu Yetziat
oh,
Mitzrayim, no?
Says the Minchas Chinuch, says the Minchas Chinuch, this is my proof
Right.
that the Rambam
Didn't hold it.
hold that she's not chayav. Otherwise, this is the place.
Right, naturally, this is.
Giving a clear
I mean,
exception.
it's a very powerful proof.
Yeah.
Yes. באכילת מצה, ליל פסח, באכילת הפסח. Okay, she's chayav when there was a korban pesach. ושחיטתו והקהל. The woman is obligated to come once in 7 years to Yerushalayim. שמחה שאנשים חייבות.
Yeah.
See, no, מצוות שמחה is in the holiday.
Yeah.
מצוות שמחה in the holiday. Now, the Mincha, so this is what we just saw is the
It's
Minchas
not an
Chinuch.
omission.
Right, the Minchas
Clear.
Chinuch says why didn't the Rambam the Rayach
It's a very good question.
no, that's not the question. It's the proof that the Rambam held that a woman is patur min Torah. She will be chayav with the Rabbanan. See, what the Minchas Chinuch does not bring is something fascinating. In the book that you have a Sefer HaMitzvot. Go to the beginning of the book, Mitzvah Kuf Nun Zayin. Larry, Kuf Nun Zayin, 157. Remember, you should say on top, Mitzvot Aseh, in the beginning of your book, Mitzvot Aseh, not Shorish. You should say Mitzvot Aseh, 157, Kuf Nun Zayin. It's in page Reis Samachda. It's a here, it says show. So you have to look few further. Okay. This is show. Page Reis Samachda. You have it Reish Samachdal, Reish
No,
Kuf. Yes,
you said.
Kuf Nun Zayin, like that. Yeah, pay attention to the Rambam. This is Sefer HaMitzvot of the Rambam, yes? והמצווה 157, remember this is a positive מצווה, שציוונו לספר ביציאת מצרים בליל 15 בניסן, yes? בתחילת הלילה, what is he saying בתחילת הלילה? We'll talk later about it.
Erev Tochlu Matzot.
כן, לא, אבל בתחילה, אף אחד...
Yeah, so but you start before, so okay.
צחות, again, Eli, you said as you said over there, צחות is, if you can express yourself very clear, וכל מה שיוסיף במאמר, ותו כמו, ויעריך הדברים בהגדלת מה שעשה לנו השם. If you talk long, ומה שעשו עמנו המצרים בעוול וחמאס, ואיך לקח השם נקמתנו מהם השם, took revenge. And then, again, the Rambam, הוא בהודות לו יתברך, and then he brings you to thank השם, על מה שגמלנו יהיה יותר טוב. כמו שאמרו, כל המעריך לספר ביציאת, remember, this is ספר המצוות, כל המעריך לספר ביציאת מצרים, הרי זה משובח. והכתוב שבא על הציווי הזה, אומרו יתברך והגדת לבנך ביום ההוא. Larry, you saw yesterday, that in Perek Zayin, Hilchot Chametz U'Matzah, when he talks about the mitzvah of Sipur, he doesn't bring this pasuk.
Right.
He brings the pasuk, Zachor et hayom hazeh. Why is he bringing here the mitzvah of Higadat al Bencha? Ubab, remember, this mitzvah that we just read is not my mitzvah to tell my kids. It's my mitzvah to tell myself, including my kids. You understand? When the Rambam began telling us the mitzvah, he doesn't say mitzvah to tell your kids. It's mitzvah lesaper, and he does not bring. We'll talk. Then
Who's the audience for this? This male or female or everybody?
this is our topic.
No, I'm saying, but
It's our
hey,
topic.
so we don't.
This is our
Right.
topic.
So
That's the
it's-
Rambam.
he's giving you the law.
In general, it's getting
Who's
to
it
the law. Exactly.
applicable to?
There is a
Sorry.
mitzvah min Torah,
Yeah.
and normally, he should tell us. In
Yeah.
a minute, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nashim, this.
Uba Perush, remember, this is Sefer HaMitzvot. The Rambam wrote this before he wrote
Before he wrote
Yad
This
HaChazaka.
is just.
The Rambam is very
recap.
organized. First, he starts with that. Then, okay, then he continues. Yachol Merosh Chodesh, Talmud Lomar Bayom Ha'u. Fine, okay. Now, somehow he doesn't tell me yes or no.
Yeah.
Remember the number of the mitzvah. What's the number of the mitzvah?
157, you said?
157. Good. Now, the Rambam at the end recaps and he tells, let me tell you which mitzvah the ladies are chayav, which not.
I see.
He says openly she's exempt from 157.
Look at that. That's.
Unbelievable, yes.
So according
the-
to Rambam, according to this, if a man is alone with his wife, he's telling the Tziyat Mitzrayim, he fulfills the Doraita by telling it to himself.
Yes, but he fulfills his wife. He
But she wasn't
helps
chayav,
his wife
but she
with the
wasn't
Rabbanan.
chayav.
No, with the Rabbanan.
Oh, we're talking for him to fulfill the Doraita, he can't be telling other Rabbanan.
100%. But
So
you,
he has to fulfill by telling himself.
but you,
Yeah, so what happens if
chayav min Torah, you are certain to see whoever is chayav with the Rabbanan.
No, I know she will see Hajj Rabbanan, but I'm saying, but for him to fulfill the Doraita, whether she's there or not, doesn't matter. For him,
Right.
right, he's fulfilling it by telling it to himself.
Yeah,
If it wasn't
But-
mitzvah to tell
but-
yourself
but-
by yourself, then he would not be fulfilled the
Yeah,
Doraita by
but-
telling his wife.
But as we spend more time on this mitzvah, we would see clearly it's part of the mitzvah is to tell it to others.
Rabbi Prague?
Not others who are chayav. This is the
Right.
point. You understand? So you'll need your wife there, even though she's not
To the
chayav in
audience.
Torah, just to someone to listen. Yes?
Right, that's
I'm telling a story.
I understand.
In other words, it's an important point.
I so you're
No, no,
telling
no,
me you're telling your 10-year-old even the same thing.
Correct. It's exactly the same.
thing.
As long as the guy
the
understands
way.
and listens. Yeah.
You know that after the Rebbetzin died, the Rebbe did not sit with all the Hasidim. He sat by himself, and they asked the question, "What did he do?" So they asked. He sat by himself. How does he do it? I think they said he had to ask himself the questions. It wasn't that he just read.
We'll talk about it. Just wait a second. It will take too long for you to look. Look, I'm reading you now all the way, Eli, the end of Minyan Mitzvot. This is what he says. He says that, okay, it's interesting. The Rambam says at the end, you read it? How many mitzvot are we, regular male? Today he says it's 60 mitzvot. 60 mitzvot apply all the time to every Jew. There you go. Let me tell you which mitzvot are ladies patu. So listen to this. I'm reading you now. Number 32, there's no time, but it's fascinating. I checked it. 32, 50, 54, 73,
These are the numbers.
94, 173, I'm sorry, 143, 146, okay, 150, 152, the Kuf Nun Zayin,
157.
Nashim Petuot. It says openly, Mavhili wrote, and the Rambam was exempt. I checked which one to
I
check.
know that's why I'm gonna try putting this into AI, ChatGPT, and see if what is my out of this.
Yeah.
Eli, it works. Eli, I did it. It really works. You could do it with AI. I'm not sure it was right, but you could list. I used that question. I said, where does the Rambam and the Ramban differ?
Wow. But put the following question. Tomorrow you'll start the class with that. Is a woman chayav in telling the story min Torah min Rabbanan?
Okay.
Is it the rabbinic command or the right? This is what you give the AI. And they'll tell you definitely it's a machloket.
I saw
I
something.
didn't, we had you before AI.
So I saw something on Yeshiva World News, they asked
Hi,
AI,
Mal.
what's the
Thank
true
you,
religion?
Rabbi, all the best.
I
I'm in
asked,
Have
Panama.
a good day, Mal.
Yeah,
it said, and it gave the reasons why.
really?
Larry, I saw in Yeshiva World
Take
News.
care, Rabbi.
They asked AI, what's the true religion? And the answer came back, Judaism is the true religion.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
Must be a Jewish AI. Let's get,